All right, welcome to week 12 of Hoops Tracker. We are pumped. The season kicks off today, Monday, December 2nd. Here we go. Man, what a great week of scrimmages last week. We had some great games. Let's jump into it. Jerry Howard, your host. Hoops Tracker, your source for Colorado basketball. Be watching. We will be covering the games um, and everything. The season is here. We've got news, we've got interviews, we've got commitments, we got rankings, preseason polls, top players in each of the regions, and games of the week. New interviews. All right, Coach Nate Ronert at SHAP. That interview is out. Coach Drake Hudgens, that'll be out today. Coach Joel Babbitt at Mesa Ridge. We'll be publishing that here in the next day or two. Be on the lookout. Great interviews talking about their teams, talking about their players. Alumni news. Brannon Rigsby from DeBeck, Colorado. I don't know if you guys remember him, but he won, I believe, 2 state titles, went undefeated, left to go to prep school, went to Oregon for a few years, transfers to Minnesota, plays Ronnie DeGray at Wichita. Wichita State comes out on top. I believe that's an overtime game, 68-61. Big shout out to Matt Johansson from Fossil Ridge, going to watch his alumni play. That's awesome. Coach, good on you. Here we go. Foundation games. Wow, they did not disappoint. Chaparral over Eagle Crest, I believe on Friday night, 66-61. It was super close. Eagle Crest had several shots at the end of the game to tie it. Did not happen. Shap pulls out the upset, if you would call it an upset, at Eagle Crest. Huge shout out to everyone that played. The game was awesome. Wish everyone could have been there. Regis over Rangeview on Saturday afternoon. Bunch of top 10 matchups, and the season hasn't started officially yet. Foundation games. Coaches, if you guys are looking for extra games, you get 2 foundation games from Chassa. They don't count against your record, but guess what? You get 2 extra games. You guys should look into that. And I believe D South over Overland at their foundation game. All right, we added a new commit this week's. You know, you've got Cole Schur from Valor, Eastern Washington. Congrats to Cole. Perfect fit. Love it, man. You're well deserved. It's a good fit for you. We wish you well at that. Let's jump on to the season. Who are the top players in North Colorado, right? Madden Smiley up at Windsor, Daniel Madanga at Rocky Mountain, Matthew Angelo at Meade, Cade Crutcher at Res Christian. I believe he's committed to go to Doane, but I think he has offers on the table. We'll check back. John Backus at Windsor, Peyton Mackin at Rocky Mountain. Huge contributor to that Rocky Mountain team. This is a year, watch out for Rocky Mountain because they've got 2 6'8" post players. They've got a combo guard, wing player, and Peyton Mackin. Plus, they have a young point guard that was all first team all league last year. And that second post player, Ryan Van Allsburg, very athletic, also plays lacrosse. We'll see what he does. Damari Wright at Severance, huge year we expect out of him. He's been putting in the work and he made a lot of improvement this summer. And of course, Ty Yoder, one of the best point guards in Northern Colorado at Resurrection Christian, who drops to 3A, and we'll get to that later. How about North Denver? Who are those top players? Well, of course, you got the Tanner and Caden Burketta out of Ralston Valley, but this Ralston Valley team is loaded. They have multiple players. They are deep. They've been playing well. They play together during the summer with B&B. They are the preseason #1 pick. But who else? Andrew Eflin at Broomfield, big year last year. Boaz Wisney at Horizon, one of the top 27 players in the state. Spencer Brown at Fairview, one of the top shooters in the state. I believe he averaged 19 points a game last year. You got Joey Cook from Broomfield. This Broomfield team did not graduate hardly anybody, and they are very senior loaded and expect them to make a big impact. And then Elijah Eschmeyer at Peak to Peak. Yes, that is the brother of Alex Eschmeyer, the All-American. And then Tyson Burton at Peak to Peak, a young point guard in the 26 class, but has grown very athletic. And this Peak to Peak team is loaded. We look forward to talking about them. How about Denver? Well, of course, all the talents in Denver, right? You know, you got Cole Sherritt Valor just committed to Eastern Washington. You got Anthony Nettles, senior, still on the board. Cash Boykin, junior. Cal Baskin, senior at Mountain Vista. Cade Speckman, one of the top players in the region, not just the state of Colorado in that 26 class. Damian Durden at South, but you got Oliver Junker at Vista, right? This Vista team is primed for a top four, Final Four run. Dominic Martinez, of course, top point guard in the DPS. James Murray at Denver East. Caleb Graham at Smoky. And you also have Carter Basquez. Cannot count those guys out. Drew Bain at Thunder Ridge, going to be a nice post player and develop very nicely. Garrett Barger from Eagle Crest, Siraj Ali at Overland, Christian Williams, Luke Howry at Shap. Rangeview is loaded. They've got Kenny Black Knox. They got Ladavian. They've got Aiden Perez. They're just loaded with talent, and they are primed to make a run as well. And then Ethan Behringer at Dakota Ridge. Don't forget about Caleb Faye, one of the probably the top player in 4A. Extremely athletic. And then Lucas Kalimba at Eagle Crest. And this Eagle Crest team, they are also loaded and deep. So expect them to make a big push. How about Southern Colorado in the mountains? You got London Prater, who's committed to go to Toledo at Liberty. You got J-Lo Hamenyima at Harrison. Excuse me for that, J-Lo. Jatwain Market Palmer. You got Bryce Reel, the top point guard in the Springs, alongside of Elijah Mack, Jackson Weber. You got Kason Westfall, the 6'11", 7-footer out of Salida. Blake Marshall, who just recently committed. And then on the Western Slope, the two best players out there, Daniel Thomason going to Metro State, and Jet Wells in that really, really loaded 26 class. Let's jump into our rankings. Everybody, every college, every high school coach I spoke with said Ralston Valley is easily the preseason number one. Absolutely. But Shap is two. They're loaded, as we just went through the list with Christian Williams, Luke Howry, Luke Williams. And then you have Regis. This Regis team is going to be dangerous. I think a lot of people might overlook them, led by Eric Fiedler. And then Mountain Vista also loaded, rounding out that top four. But look, there's parity in 6A. You got Rangeview that's loaded, that just picked up Ladavian King. We're not sure about Aiden Perez if he'll be eligible to play this season, but man, they are just loaded. Eagle Crest, we just talked about their players. They are loaded. We already mentioned Regis, Broomfield. This team, senior loaded, lots of players coming back. With that new Granite Peaks League, expect them to win that league, but they'll get some competition with some 5A schools. And then Denver East. You never know what Coach Carey's got, but man, he's got some good talent. We were down at some scrimmages and practices. They look good, led by James Murray and Mo Fulcher. And then Thunder Ridge. You never count out Joe Ortiz in this Thunder Ridge group. Even though they're rebuilding, they return Drew Bain, but they get back a starter from 2 years ago, Ulysses Grant, who was out last year with injury, and he looks good. And they are going to be on a mission. You know, they came up just short in that 6A game last year, but man, we're going to see. All right, 5A rankings. Windsor, loaded with Madden Smalley, John Backhouse. They return almost everybody from last year's team, and they came up just short in that title game against Mesa Ridge. Mesa Ridge, two-time state defending champs, loaded with talent. However, they graduated one of the Real brothers, Bryce is becoming his own. Bryce, a dual sport athlete, football and basketball, as well as some of their other Mesa Ridge players. Look for these guys to be dangerous. Palmer. Palmer is going to be good. They have two very, very good guards. The rest of the team moves very quick. Coach Eric is doing a great job down there. And then Dakota Ridge, saw them in a scrimmage against Eagle Crest and Thunder Ridge. Man, they look good. They're loaded and they are ready to make a run. What about Green Mountain? Well, what about them? Because they have a bunch of young players that are almost all now juniors. They've got a Division I baseball player. They've got some other talent. Coach Puccio has them primed to make a run. Lewis Palmer, Coach Benton, he just every year just reloads. We're looking forward to them. Meade is going to be a very dangerous team. They got Matthew Angelo. They keep reloading. They got some younger talent that's stepping in. They will be a team to definitely watch in 5A. And let's not forget about Lutheran. Lutheran last year in the title game in 4A, move up to 5A this year. And one of the things that's going to be really interesting is they have a new coach, Marty Clark, former Duke player, walk on at Duke, made a huge impact in Duke in their 2 national championships. Man, also on that team, Cade Speckman, they're loaded with talent and they've got some young talent and they are ready to make their impact on 5A. Thomas Jefferson, Coach Grant's got a loaded team and Ponderosa rounding out that top 10. Let's jump to 4A because Riverdale Ridge moves out, Lutheran moves out, Resurrection Christian moves out. Well, who's left? Well, Kent Denver sitting at number 1. This team is primed, loaded. Last year, they played Smoky Hill early in the season, looked great. They went to the finals, came up just short against Resurrection Christian. But this team, they are on a mission. Coach Todd, senior heavy, but you can't count out because they got Caleb Fay, D1 athlete prospect for sure. And then Colorado Academy. Man, this Metro League, look at that. 3 teams out of the Metro League in 4A are in the top 3. You got Kent Denver, you got Colorado Academy, and we already talked about this peak-to-peak team led by Evan Eschmeyer, former standout and Northwestern, played for the Dallas Mavericks, bringing his philosophy in basketball to peak. He's got 2 years with them, and man, these guys look good. They look great at the CU camp. They're developing. Severance, Coach Chad Sauls, even though he graduates one of his best players in Severance history, he still reloads. Denver, DSST, Green Valley. We got Pagosa Springs, Steamboat. We have Holy Family. Now, Holy Family graduated a lot of talent, but they're going to be back. And Coach Pete Valleco, he just does a phenomenal job. And watch out for this Aspen team. They've got some players. We saw them this summer at some tournaments, and man, do they look good. Keep an eye out for them. And then Eaton rounding out the top 10. All right. What about games to watch this week? Man, Mullen at Lutheran. What a great matchup. Looking forward to that. Mountain Vista at Smoky Hill Tuesday night. Definitely game of the week. You got basically top 10 matchups. And you got Chaparral at Lewis Palmer. You got a top 6A team against a top 5A team. Northfield at Thunder Ridge. Coach Dre Calloway, Northfield, moves up from 5A. They were in the Final Four last year. Now they are 6A. This team is going to be a great team to watch. You got Thomas Jefferson at GW for a little bit of a DPS matchup. Cherry Creek versus Legend. All right, where are the big tournaments this week? You only get them here at HoopsTracker. Fossil Ridge, Fort Collins tournament. Holy smoke. Some of the top teams in the state will be up north. You got Windsor, you got Denver East, Ralston Valley, Mullen, Palmer, Cherry Creek, Legend. This tournament is loaded. If you're not up in Fort Collins on Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday, I don't know where you would be. But on the Western Slope, Grand Junction has a big tournament, and they've got some good teams out there as well. You got Lutheran with Marty Clark going out there. You got Fruta with Mike Wells. Last year, they got bounced in the Sweet 16, I believe it was. But they are on a mission. Horizon is out there. There's some good talent. And then the Green Mountain tournament, Cherokee Trail, A West, Green Mountain, Longmont. There's more teams. But man, great first week for Colorado basketball. We are pumped. And if you got news, you guys want to share it, DM us, hookups, tag us on your stats, performances. Colorado Hoops Tracker is your source for Colorado basketball. We are excited to be back into season full swing. We'll have some guest speakers coming on the show in the next few weeks, and then we'll be definitely talking and following teams. So please tag us. Man, we hope everyone has a great first week and a blessing, and the weather can't ask for anything better than this. So with that, Jerry Howard, your host at Hoops Tracker, we're out, and everyone have a fantastic week.